Hey guys, this is Kian from The Undefined Diet. I am here today with Roxy Bolivar. This is my first clients here out in Miami. I've had the opportunity to be able to work with her and coach her for the last 11 months, almost a year. It's been an unbelievable experience seeing her and her transformation through this entire process. And now she's here being able to give her her story of kind of what she's gone through in the last year and the progress she's been able to make through changes that we made, through a lot of principles that I teach in the Undefined Diet. Roxy, thank you so much for coming. As always, it's a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, Kian.
Absolutely. So, starting off, give me kind of a little breakdown of where you were in terms of nutritionally and where your mindset was prior to us meeting and kind of working together.
Nutritionally, it was pretty bad. Mindset-wise, it was open to changes, which I think was super important. But yeah, my nutrition was really bad. It was pretty much fast food all day, every day. And even though I hated it, I wouldn't stop, and I didn't know how to stop. So yeah, meeting you and starting the Undefined Diet made a lot of changes with nutrition, with fitness, with total mindset, really, and yeah, that's where we were.
Yeah, definitely. So you said fitness, you said nutrition, you said mindset as a whole. That includes sleeping as well. We've talked about multiple times. And so the Undefined Diet isn't really a diet at all. It's actually a change and a shift in lifestyle and your ability how you interact with everyday decisions and choices and within work and everything as a whole. Talk a little bit about how you use principles from the Undefined Diet as you would in your workplace and how it's improved from that standpoint.
Okay. So pretty much I believe it would be mindfulness. I think that was pretty much the focus for everything that I was doing in my life, as far as how I ate, how I slept, how I interacted with people at work, how I looked at my schedule as a whole, how I changed my timing and how I live my life, and starting my day earlier and setting the tone for the rest of my day. I think that was super important in the changes that I made. I totally made a huge shift in sleeping. I wasn't sleeping at all. And the more I ate better and the more I was mindful and tried to have more control over my stress management, the better I slept. So it not so much in hours, but in the quality of the sleep. So that was pretty mindfulness, I would believe, is the focus that took me through this process.
Talk a little bit more about mindfulness and like what that is to you and how it applies to eating and how it applies to just your everyday interactions.
The way I see mindfulness in my life is, and what I feel that I've taken from what I've learned from you, is basically just thinking through of what I'm doing, actually paying attention to what I'm doing, and the way I prepare my meals, and even just cutting the vegetables and putting the meals together, and deciding whether I'm hungry, whether I'm full, and enjoying the food that I'm eating. I do the same thing at work, and I think about what I'm doing, what my tasks are for the day, how I'm going to accomplish my day, and then being prepared for anything that comes my way, given that that's huge in my industry. And also in how I spent my downtime. As I started to lose weight and became more active, I became more active during my downtime. So it was more of a balance between work and play, which I did not have. My life was focused on work and stress, and there was, food was just something that I had to put in my mouth, and usually it was in the car, and that was pretty much it. Exercise was zero. Walking was a challenge. Getting up the stairs of my house was a challenge. I was always out of breath. I was always tired. Everything hurt. I felt like I was 80 years old and I was not. So yeah, mindfulness in everything that I do is pretty much what gets me through the day.
So you said mindfulness is one of the things that you practice in your everyday life. So through nutrition, through your work, through sleeping. What were some of the other smaller habit changes that you've been able to make and things that you've been able to implement to ultimately make much bigger changes in the long run, especially in regard to eating. A lot of things they talk about in the undefined diet are these micro habits that you'll learn about surrounding eating. You said you used to eat a lot in the car, right? And you used to not really acknowledge when you were full before. Kind of talk a little bit about those things and how important those little habit changes are in terms of being able to change your body composition, in terms of being able to change your internal health as a whole.
So at first it was a little bit difficult. I think more so because whenever you think about dieting or I thought about dieting as a whole, it was something that I had to follow. It was a list of items. It was a way to eat, breakfast, lunch, dinner. I really pushed for that kind of information, and I never really got that. What I got was, this is the types of food you should eat. This is the type of foods that constitute a healthy meal, which should be filling and focusing on macronutrients and how to put these foods together. So just that process alone took planning and preparation, which I wasn't doing. So even though I felt that my life was very organized, it was not organized. It was pretty much a disaster. So doing food preparation and planning my day in order to incorporate exercise and everything else was a habit that I had to form. As far as the food, it was great because you would give me sometimes like examples, and that's what helped me to then create my own recipes or incorporate different foods and it opened me up to trying new things that I would not normally eat. Spending time going to the farmer's market, that was awesome. And it was that time and that knowledge that I didn't have, and I never really made time to make those type of efforts because it was just simpler to pick something up and just have this mentality that I was on the go, and that's what was easy for me. And it really wasn't easy. It was hard because it was destructive in every other way. So it affected my health, it affected my mood, and like I said before, it affected my sleep, which was huge. Not getting sleep was super lacking. The sleep was super lacking, and that affected everything in my life. So yeah, a lot of meal planning and trying new things and being open to those new things, I thought was super important.
And I think to kind of piggyback on those smaller habits that we talk about all the time, realizing that it's a process and it's a journey that you're embarking on. It's not that you're not going to wake up one day and say in the near future and say, hey, I finally hit the pinnacle of health. I'm finally perfectly healthy. I'm perfectly disease free. I have the perfect body. That's nearly impossible. And a lot of people going into certain projects, going into certain diets, they're made there's these promises that are told to them and they're going to get this results in this amount of time, when in reality that's not what it's about. It's about small incremental changes, not trying to make one big massive extreme change at one time and trying to get fast results. And now we're a society that tries to operate off getting fast results. But what people are realizing now with following diets and short-term diets is that if you get fast results, you're very quickly going to go back to where you were at.
Absolutely.
They're not sustainable, right? And that's what you recognized. And I never once that I tried to jam a lot of things down your throat saying, hey, do this, do that, do this, do that. I helped you come up with the answers yourself, right? We made things work to your lifestyle and fit into how it worked for you. I didn't try to jam one style into you saying, hey, you need to change your entire life by doing how I want you to do it. And we worked around your life and we made it convenient for you. And so that's ultimately, I think, what the Undefined Diet is primarily about, is being able to create your own sustainable way of eating by not listening to somebody saying, I know what's best for you, but ultimately you being the guide for what's best for you. I think that's kind of what was so cool about it, is I saw the empowerment of yourself and the confidence in yourself change because you realized you were capable of doing all these things alone without me. And we got to the point to where now you do things and you tell me after you do them. You don't even ask me, which is really cool. Talk a little bit about how your confidence has increased so much and how you've been able to take your health into your own hands, especially when people are asking you about like what diet you're following, right? You tell them all the time there's no diet. So talk a little bit about that.
That's probably been the toughest part because everybody wants to know what the magic secret is and what the special sauce is, and there really isn't. It's just a matter of making these changes and just seeing how well you feel, and it creates confidence just in your life. Just feeling well makes everything better. So I try to explain when people ask, there's not a diet. I'm not, going through these huge sacrifices. I'm not restrictive. I enjoy what I eat, and I try to find better ways of making foods that I've enjoyed in the past, recipes, Cuban traditional recipes that before were something that may have been considered unhealthy. I don't consider them unhealthy anymore because of the way that I prepare them, and the ingredients that I use, and they're still tasty and delicious, and I love them. And so it's pretty funny because when we have these family gatherings now, I've kind of like pushed off a little bit of my knowledge onto my family and how we incorporate food into what we're doing in our activities. And it's been fun to watch everybody change and try to, go with a plan, and the way we grill, and we're, making vegetables together, and everybody's working together, and everybody was just surprised at my level of energy and my willingness to even participate more, and seeing that process. It was kind of enlightening because then I was able to see the difference. And when I saw that difference, it was pretty overwhelming, because then you see the person that you were before and the person that you are now. And that's when you realize how important it is to treat the vessel that carries your soul as everything. I mean, that's really what it is. So I take a lot of care in myself, and I carry that not only in the food that I eat, but in the way I take care of myself, in every way, in hygiene way, and dress way, and the way I dress, the way I present myself, in spending more time doing more activities like going to the beach where I didn't want to do that kind of stuff before. So yeah, the diet was super important in the sense that there was a change in the way I ate, but there was no specification to it. There was no specification.
Some may say undefined.
Pretty much.
In a lot of ways, right? Absolutely. So you were able to create your own sustainable way of eating, right?
Absolutely.
That you're able to take on for the rest of your life and continue to use and have, no matter what position you're in. Whether you're at an airport, whether you're traveling on vacation, you're able to use a lot of these principles that you've been able to acquire and these different attributes that you have now, no matter what situation you're in. Regardless, it's not like you're stuck at your house where if you don't have your measuring cup and your scale, you're screwed. So with that being said, talk a little bit about, have you ever counted your calories, or have you ever counted your macronutrients before while living this undefined lifestyle?
I have no idea how many calories I eat. Absolutely none. I don't count them. I basically just look for a lean protein, and that can be in the source of either meat or even with beans. I find different ways to fulfill that. It can be as simple as oatmeal with protein powder, which you taught me, and it's funny because I've being in Brickell and being in the type of industry I'm in, I eat out a lot. So it was very important for me to be able to go places where I can feel comfortable in ordering, and I found that very restrictive. But I found ways to do it, and I had people cooking things up for me. They even would make me my eggs with my spinach, which was wonderful. So I would basically incorporate the greens, the lean proteins, the healthy carbs, and the healthy fats, and that's what I would focus on, is having that trio, and creating that plate, and eat till I was full. I learned that I was satisfied, and sometimes I would finish the plate, sometimes I wouldn't finish the plate, and that was okay. It was all about how I felt in that moment, and not about what was on the plate and if I need to eat it all or not eat it all. It was more about how I felt, and that goes back to the mindfulness. So yeah.
Thanks for bringing that back up, Roxy, the whole principle of mindfulness. And to kind of wrap all of this up, that's ultimately what my program is entirely about. The Undefined Diet is being able to step away from the present moment that you're in and be able to see things as they really are, and not rely off your old subconscious habits to be able to react off things, but being able to separate yourself from it and say, okay, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I eating this? Okay, am I actually full? Am I not full? So you've been able to acquire all these new habit changes over time that's led you to the sustainable way of eating for the rest of your life, and sustainable, healthy lifestyle for the rest of your life. So Roxy, thanks again for being.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So guys, now you've kind of heard it. Roxy Bolivar, she's lost over 90 pounds in the last 11 months working together by simply making small habit changes over time. Nothing drastic. She didn't count her calories. Like she said, she has never counted her calories, never counted her macronutrients, none of that, but she's been able to have these unbelievable results and change the way she lives her life entirely. So if you get the chance, please check out the Undefined Diet so you guys can too be able to create your own sustainable, healthy way of eating and living forever. So have a wonderful day, and looking forward to hearing from you guys.